So I really disagree with the credibility bar, because what happens is even if you just lose the whole bar, it's auto-saved. So you're just gonna go back to the auto-save and you just keep playing. So having the lose condition in this game doesn't actually affect the gameplay at all. It doesn't actually add anything to the gameplay. Like, you know, in an action game, like in a platformer, like if you're playing Mario, you can die in Mario. And if you die in a level, then you have to replay the level from the start. And the challenge is to get through the level without dying. So there, like dying in a level makes sense. Like the lose condition makes sense because the challenge is to complete the whole objective in one go. Whereas here, because it autosaves, and the challenge is just clicking. Like there's no challenge really, you just kind of click buttons. So there's no real challenge to restarting the conversation from the autosave. You see what I mean? So it doesn't actually add anything to the gameplay. I really don't think that's a good mechanic. But anyway, it's there. Alright, so they eat our crops. Ask for clarification? What do you mean by that? Deer eat the plants that farmers grow. A deer could eat a whole bushel of corn without breaking a sweat. Yeah, so. Press for backing. What evidence do you have to back that up? Do you know what deer are, partner? They're herbivores. That means they eat plants, lots of them. Can you imagine that? Living without steak? Horrible. Crops are plants, so the darn deer will eat them. But do they actually eat them? I thought there's like fences and things to keep the deer out and whatnot. Alright. They steal our jobs. What do you mean by that? Deer take jobs from the working man. Companies hire them instead of normal folks. Cheap labor, you only need to pay them when leaves. Backing? How exactly did they do that? We see corporate sabotage. Corporate sabotage. Okay, they don't actually steal our jobs. Right, so we remove that statement. Every year they cause accidents and injuries. Ask for clarification. Do you know what an injury is? Yes. And what accidents are? Yes. No, it's not. See, that's the thing, like, yeah, the dialogue is kind of preset, and so there are a lot of places where, you know, the logic doesn't entirely follow. At least for me, and everyone's different. Like everyone thinks differently and approaches problems differently. But there's only one kind of sequence of buttons to press to get the answer here. So it's a little bit strange in that way, but we can ignore that. I think we just want to focus on the philosophy. Press for backing. Do you have any evidence to support that deer cause injuries? Have you heard of the term deer in the headlights? Well, it turns out the term comes from real-life deer. They stand in the middle of the road and just get hit. Cause all sorts of horrible crashes. It's quite terrible, believe me. Okay, I buy it. Every year they cause accidents and injuries. Challenge. I have played this game before, by the way, so I know the answers. So we challenge him by saying that... That never works, by the way, your face is ugly. We're going to challenge him by saying, deer live in the woods. Deer are most commonly found in large wooded areas away from the bustle of people. That's what's wrong with the argument. Hold on. I don't really think that flies. See, why? Next. Why? Oh. Why? The only reason you're safe is that I'm here with my repellent. Ask for clarification. If I wasn't here, the street would be swarming with deer. Deer everywhere, hurting everybody. Why, it's too horrible to even comprehend. Press for backing. How can you be so sure? Tell me, partner, do you see any deer around? No. There you go, my deer repellent at work. Unless you can... Oh, unless you can give me a reason to doubt it, I see no reason anyone should think otherwise. Dad, do you think you could oblige him? Alright, so now we're supposed to use the challenge. Now, why would... See, like, the logic... I was thinking, like, you know, they cause accidents and injuries, but only in wooded areas, not in New York City, so we should be fine. And that's actually the answer. But you have to say it here instead of the previous statement. So you see how the game mechanics don't always mesh with logic. But anyway, let's just go with it. So he's challenging with this now.
Nonsense!
Billy, can you tell me where deer are most commonly... can you tell me where deer most commonly reside? Forests, mountains, and plains, I reckon. Right. That sounds about right. And where are we now? New York City. Exactly. So then tell me, Billy, when was the last time you heard of a deer in New York City? Did he punch himself or did I punch him? Like, why does that sound happen? It's highly unlikely that a deer will show up in any city, let alone New York. Do you really think you can take credit for the fact that there are no deer around? Like, I don't know, the sound effects are a little weird. Way to go, Dad. Yes, I'm awesome. Maybe if we were living in the wilderness, we would need your deer repellent. But as we live in the middle of a city, I hardly see the point. I highly doubt Bambi is going to wander down Main Street. He'll be hit in an instant. Clearly your repellent is of no use. So
Nonsense!
really. Now hear here, mister. Now listen here, mister. It seems to me you are being unfair. I will admit you have a point, but you are failing to consider all the finer qualities of this here product. Is that so? Sure is. Let me explain to you what you are missing. Why my product is still useful to you. My product comes in a fine blue casing. Okay. Each letter of the label is hand-painted. My grandmother toiled over the design. Clearly my product would still be useful to you. Ari, I don't think I have any evidence to counter those points. You know, even if a point is supported, it may not be related to the conclusion. If that's the case, it doesn't really matter if it's supported or not. The point has no place being presented in the discussion. I think I get it. You're saying in such situations I should question the relevance of a statement. Well, that's what John Stuart Mill would do. It's not useful for us to listen to statements that have no connection to the overall argument. We are discussing economics, or if we are discussing economics, for example, it really doesn't matter how well you support the fact that purple is the best color. Of course not. We all know green is anyway. Nice. Getting back on track. Even if the statement is irrelevant, questioning can be a great way to see how everything fits together. I guess I should go forward with questioning him then. Question relevance. Move added. My product comes in a fine blue casing. So, I mean, if you're paying attention, I don't know how much attention you're paying, but if you are, notice that they actually kind of, or Ari is introducing to you the fundamental, methods of philosophical inquiry, and I guess logic as well. So you can, you can ask for clarification, you can press for backing, you can also question the relevance. So you can, ask for clarification is pretty easy, but you press for backing, so you kind of have to either see if the statement is supported by facts, right? And then even if it is supported by facts, well, is it relevant? Does it actually, support the conclusion? And maybe it doesn't. So these are kind of basic concepts of philosophical inquiry. So my product comes in a fine blue casing. Question relevance. How is this related to your conclusion? Blue is pretty, partner. Go on. Therefore, the fact that my product is pretty makes it more useful. No, it doesn't. Statement removed. Each letter of the label is hand-painted. Question relevance. How is this related to your conclusion? Art is craftsmanship. And things being done by machine, that's not craftsmanship. Okay, great, but how does this craftsmanship make your product more useful? ... Okay, fine, you made your point, let's move on. My grandmother toiled over the design. Relevance? How is this related to your conclusion? Quality takes effort, partner. Surely the amount of time my grandma poured into it contributes to its value. ... Not really. Heartless. No respect for the elderly. No respect. Very well, have it your way. Statement removed. Billy! The yelling is too much for my heart to bear. Relax, I'm not gonna hurt you, just a sales pitch. Okay. Well, that's good. No, not really. I'm afraid there's no avoiding it. Billy, you're trying to sell me a product based on its usefulness to me, but its aesthetic qualities and methods of manufacturing, while nice, offer no function which benefits me. At this point, you're grasping at straws to convince me to buy your product, and you know it. Okay. It's been nice chatting with you, but I've got clients to find. There are many fish in the sea, and it's clear you ain't one of mine. Okay, bye. Well, that was fun. I think you mean infuriating. How much time do you have left before school? Relax, Dad, I'm sure I'm fine. We still have... negative half an hour. Well, only it took 22 minutes to do that, so actually that's not true. But okay. We've got to get going. Yes, we do. I can't believe we lost track of time. It's all that fool Billy's fault. Billy and his idiotic dear Repellant. Now you're going to be late for school and you'll probably be expelled. And your mother would never forgive me. Not that she talks to me anymore anyway. That's kinda sad. The best kind. But it's not competing with anything. I mean, what would it compete with? Harry's dear Vanisher? Dad? Honestly, people believe they can sell you anything these days, wasting our time. The nerve, they think we're a bunch of fools. Well, they think you're a fool. Is that an air freshener? What kind of car is this? Dad. And we can just be convinced we should buy a stupid product we would never ever need. I mean, aesthetic qualities, I ask you. We just murdered a deer. Wait, did we just hit a deer in the middle of New York City? And chapter 1 through the looking glass. Alright, so I think what I should do is stop the recording, check that everything works, and then when we come back we'll go on to chapter 1. So that was the tutorial, and I kind of went through that kind of quickly, although I did try to outline the important points. So, I mean, I'm doing this because, I mean, I'm interested in philosophy, and I think some of you guys are too, because I talk about stuff in my commentary and playthroughs and things, and maybe you guys might be interested in this sort of stuff. But just, yeah, I'll just keep going. But if you want to, I think you should play the game yourself and also pay attention to what Ari says. Because I mean, this thing is educational. It's trying to hide a beginner's course on philosophy, hide it in the game. So you should pay attention if you want to learn this stuff. I don't know how many of you are actually into philosophy, or if you're familiar with some of the some of the more well-known topics. Anyway, I'll stop rambling, and when we come back in the next video, we'll go on to chapter 1.